What's up, Bills Mafia and all my fellow fantasy football players? I know all my Marvin Harrison Jr. drafters who took him at a very high place drafted the guy. I know I drafted him personally over Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, Ayuk. I mean, guys who are just proven studs in the league. I took Marvin Harrison Jr. over those guys. So I know I can't be the only one that's like, what the fuck? I know we're all not thrilled to see him only get 3 targets, 1 catch for 4 yards. I mean, that is pitiful numbers considering how high we took this guy, taking him over guys like Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans. I know personally I'm kicking myself for not taking Mike Evans, who is a dog and had 2 touchdowns today, a proven guy in the NFL, never not had a 1,000-yard season. These are the kind of questions I ask myself when I think, why did I draft this man over Mike Evans? But you know what? It's only week 1. I'm not going to get carried away. I know the other Marvin Harrison Jr. fans out there are also kind of nervous with this too. But guys, it's only week 1. It's okay. We knew the gamble we were taking on this guy. I know we all wanted him to be like a Jamar Chase, his first season, just explode. And he still could do that. It is only week 1. There's going to be a lot softer defenses coming up that he's going to play. And when it really comes down to it, I'm Bills Mafia. So I'd rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. have a shitty day today than have the Cardinals win. I'm just being honest. But as for all my fantasy football people, guys, don't panic. It's only week 1. I know we took this guy really high, but let's just hope that as the season pans out, he's going to build some more chemistry with Kyler Murray, and he's going to have much better days ahead of him. As for my Amon-Ra St.Brown drafters out there, we all took this guy in the first round. Okay, I took him 6th overall, and I'll be honest, when I look at the stats today, all right, you got Jameson Williams, who in my 12-man league didn't go until the 12th round. All right, he finishes the day with 9 targets, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Now, our boy Amon-Ra, who we took in the first round, had 3 catches for 13 yards. And it seemed like every time he was in motion, it was just like eye candy for the defense. He was going out to set a block. He seemed like he was not a part of this offense at all. And again, it's still early. It's not time to hit the panic button. But these are the kind of things that make me think, You got Jameson Williams win the 12th round. Amon-Ra St. Brown win in the first round. It makes me kind of question the whole way that we draft teams in fantasy football. Now, what I mean by that, I'm not saying that, we should have drafted Jameson Williams in the first round and we shouldn't have taken Amon-Ra St. Brown. Obviously not, okay? My buddy called this. He wanted to grab him in fantasy football, and I said, Jameson who? Jameson Williams? Didn't know anything about him. I thought he was crazy when he was telling me he was trying to grab him in fantasy football. But I got to give him props. Week 1, looking like he was a late-round steal. But what I want to talk about was, I feel like in fantasy football, we feel like the lists of the receivers that we're supposed to take is written in stone, And Marvin Harrison Jr. was ranked higher than Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, guys who balled out today. And when we're on that clock, drafting a fantasy football team, and you see Marvin Harrison Jr. here, and you see Cooper Kupp 6 spots down, right? 6 or 7 spots down, whatever he was. It's like we feel this obligation that, we have to go with what Fantasy Pros is telling us, or Yahoo, or whatever we're looking at for our source. And we feel obligated to draft these guys higher. And a regular fantasy football player, I've been doing this for years and years and years. I'm on 16 years of this shit. I see it happen all the time when I feel pressured to take certain guys higher than others. But if you look at it, why is there any justification that Marvin Harrison Jr. is ranked higher than Mike Evans? The guy's never not had a 1,000-yard season. Cooper Kupp, he's a beast. Only had a little bit of a down year last year because he got hurt, and that's when Puka kind of took over. But when him and Puka were both in the field, he always produced. But because of this hype behind Marvin Harrison Jr. and what he was in college, and now being paired with Kyler Murray, a really good quarterback, it creates this unrealistic vision that we have in our heads about what this guy is going to do right from the jump. And it makes us forget about guys like Mike Evans, who have been consistently producing in the NFL year after year. Look, I know it's only week 1, but looking back on that, I'm thinking to myself, what was I thinking? How do I grab this rookie over Mike Evans, who's never given me any reason to believe that he's not a beast and isn't going to continue being a beast? So, I just want to kind of bring that point up to you guys to make us all rethink this when we're in this seat next year and we're drafting our fantasy football teams. We don't have to just go by what the rankings say. If you want to draft a guy that's 8 guys lower than another guy, 10 guys even, grab him. Because the rankings doesn't mean shit. It's all projections. And I think we can all definitely benefit in having that kind of mindset going forward with our fantasy drafts. But it's okay. I'm sure that there are greener pastures ahead for Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to have better games. Not worried about it. Amon-Ra St.Brown, he's going to be involved in this offense as well. But it does make you think. Don't feel pressured on taking people. Now, as for all my David Montgomery owners out there, it was a funny thing with this game because the first quarter, I noticed that Montgomery was getting fed the ball a lot, right? First quarter, just he was eating. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is awesome. They're going to have like a pretty even timeshare. Him and Gibbs kept feeding him the ball the whole first quarter. Then it felt like after the first quarter, I felt like Montgomery disappeared for like 3 quarters in a row. I wasn't seeing him on the field really at all, you know? It was just a Gibbs show. Getting targets, getting the carries. Then it felt like in overtime, all of a sudden, Montgomery comes back out there and he's used heavily in this overtime. It was a complete Gibbs show for 3 straight quarters. Then OT hits, and finally they let Montgomery back in. He's just a straight beast, hitting the holes hard, just boom, 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 running through the vendors with that physicality. And I think Marshawn Lynch said it best. This is what this reminded me of tonight. If you just keep running at someone's face
over and over and over and over and over, a lot of people ain't going to be able to take that.
Montgomery just kept hitting him right up the middle. And they started getting tired. They couldn't take it no more. Montgomery basically single-handedly marched them all the way down the field, got to the goal line, and then every single person in that stadium, including the Rams, knew that Montgomery was just going to run that ball straight up the middle and score a touchdown, and there was nothing they could do about it. It was one of those moments where it was inevitable. You know, like everybody knew that it was going to happen. They knew the exact play they were going to run. They kept it old school. They just ran it straight up the middle of the goal line. And everybody in that stadium knew it was coming, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. Obviously, you got to give the offensive line some credit there, too. The Detroit Lions do have one of the best lines in the league, but that's a powerful thing. So you got to think that this changes things moving forward. And what I mean by that is just moving forward in terms of maybe not taking Montgomery out for practically entire 3 quarters, right? Because it did feel like that. As a Montgomery owner, I felt like he was a ghost for like 3 quarters after the first quarter. And he did good that first quarter. That's why I thought it was surprising that they just switched it over to Gibbs like that. I thought they were going to do like a back and forth even share the whole time. But no, it turned into a Gibbs show for 3 quarters. Then they got Montgomery back out for their OT. You got to think that moving forward, you're not going to take Montgomery out for another 3 whole quarters. Because if you think about it, the Rams started to catch up and almost won this game. And you got to think that if they didn't take Montgomery out for those few quarters, that probably wouldn't have gotten as close as it did. Or maybe it only worked out that way because Montgomery had fresh legs because he hadn't been playing for the whole game, and they were all just tired, and he just ran through their face over and over again, just like Lynch said. They pretty much ended the night with a completely even number of touches with combined opportunities. You had Montgomery with 17 carries and 1 target, and you had Gibbs 11 carries and 6 targets. So it was 18-17 in total opportunities. You'd think moving forward they would just let Monty be more of the rushing guy and Gibbs be more of the receiving guy and the one you got in motion. But I guess we'll see. Either way, good game for Montgomery. I know that as Montgomery owners, for a little bit, it was a little worrisome, but I think that those concerns are behind us. They're definitely going to keep Montgomery involved in this offense heavily. All right, now on to the quick recap of the Buffalo Bills game tonight, because this is what we're all here for. All right, I'm going to start off in the defense. Greg Rousseau, I got to say he was the defensive player of the day. Guy had 3 sacks, 6 tackles, a fumble force, and 3 TFLs. Then you had Von Miller, not quite as impressive, but 2 tackles, 1 sack, and a TFL. Now, this is nothing to brag about, but nonetheless, this is an improvement from the Von Miller we saw last year. You know, Von Miller didn't do anything last year. So it's nice to see week 1, he's already having his moments, having his little moments where he's shining out there. And you got to think that, each game he's going to contribute more and more and maybe become the old Von Miller again. Oh, sorry, guys. I lost my voice today yelling at the bar, so. Nothing this delicious high noon won't help. I'm trying to get my sponsorship here. You guys had these before? The high noon iced teas? Fucking delicious. No carbonation, no heartburn, baby. But anyways, now let's talk about the offense. Obviously, the star of the show, JoshAllen, got to give it to him. 2 rushing TDs, 2 throwing touchdowns. He's definitely in the MVP conversation after this game. I'm just going to come out and say it. That shit was crazy. Hurdling over Buda Baker. I mean, and Buda Baker is no scrub. You know he pulls out the hurdle every now and again, but this was one of the most epic hurdles I think I've seen. I mean, if you guys saw the pictures floating around where he's just in the air, literally Superman flying through the air. I mean, this guy is a fucking athlete, okay? People want to talk to me about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson? What, because he has 2 MVPs? I want to point out, this is Josh Allen's 4th career game having 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 throwing touchdowns in one game. And guess what? He is the only quarterback besides Steve Young who has ever done that 4 times. So he's up there with greatness right now. No other quarterback in the history of the NFL besides Josh Allen and Steve Young have had 4 separate games where in a single game they have 2 rushing TDs and 2 throwing touchdowns. Now, as you also know, Josh Allen is the only quarterback in the history of the NFL that has had 4 consecutive seasons of having 40-plus touchdowns a year. Okay, so when people want to talk to me about Lamar Jackson and say, oh, well, Lamar Jackson got 2 MVPs. What? Lamar Jackson is not in the company of greatness with any of these records, okay? Yeah, Lamar Jackson has 2 MVPs, but don't talk to me about Lamar, okay? Talk to me when he's breaking records. Talk to me when he's having 4 years in a row of having 40-plus touchdowns. I can't stand it when people talk about Lamar Jackson with Josh Allen, acting like he's better. They're just being silly. Let's be honest with ourselves, okay? Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, both great players, but Josh Allen's up here. Lamar Jackson's down here. The stats say it all, guys. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video if you want to see more Buffalo Bills content and also more fantasy football content. Now, as for everybody else in the offense who made impacts, Khalil Shakir had a nice touchdown today, and I called it in my video 2 videos ago. Khalil Shakir is a dog, okay? He can do shit that Stephon Diggs used to do for us. He brings that element to the table. He bounces off people. He had that ridiculous touchdown where he literally fell over a defender and stretched his arms out to make the touchdown. I mean, every time, he doesn't have a lot of opportunities, and I hope that we start giving him more. But Shakir only had 3 targets today, and he managed to get a touchdown in an epic fashion. Got to feed him the ball more. But this is the way our offense is. Everyone's going to have their own weeks. It's not going to be a Stephon Diggs show. You know, Stephon Diggs is gone. That selfish shit, we got rid of that. It's going to be spread out. I know that also my Daltonkincaid fantasy football owners are also a little concerned because Kincaid had, 2 targets today? Yeah, not good. But, you know, everyone's going to have their days. Matt Collins had a nice touchdown for us today, who seems like he's taking over not only Gabe Davis's jersey with 13, but it seems like he's taking over that role for him. I thought it was going to be MVS, but it's looking like it's going to be Hollins. You know, he's got that big body, can be a big threat in the red zone. He's going to be that deep route guy too, which I think MVS will be as well. But as of right now, it just seems like Matt Collins is filling in for Gabe Davis, and he's filling in nicely. James Cook also with 100 yards in the day. Love to see him cooking it up. Love to see the offense using him more, and they're going to keep using him because it felt like for a while, every time James Cook touched the ball, he got 5 yards. So you love to see a more balanced offense like that so that Josh Allen doesn't have to always be Superman, put the game on his back, even though he did it anyways today with that hurdling touchdown, another rushing touchdown, 4 touchdowns in the day. Great first start to the season. Josh Allen, MVP candidate. You heard it here first. So the Bills with a big dub. I know the Cardinals aren't the best team, but hey, a win is a win, and we started the season off right. Now we got the Miami Dolphins Thursday in Miami. I'm going to be at that game. I'm going to be there in the stands, get my own footage. So guess what? No copyright infringement for you, YouTube, because we're using BK's content from the game. Yeah. Miami is going to be a tougher opponent. I can't wait. It's going to be a great game. We always do our thing when we play Miami, but hey, any given Sunday, 1 game at a time, let's get this dub. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more fantasy football content, if you want more Buffalo Bills content. I'm going to be doing this every week. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on these fantasy football players I talked about. Let me know if you're concerned about them. It's only week 1, though, so I don't think we have anything to panic about. But it's off to a good start. I'll see you guys next week. Go Bills.